Hey y'all, Ruth Delgado here, and this is Ruth Delgado's Glamour page here. So, if you have not seen me before, welcome, and if you have seen me before, welcome back. So, I decided to come on cam today to talk to you guys because I was going to talk to my friend, but they weren't available to talk. So, I said, okay, well, I'm going to talk to my other friends, my YouTube friends. So, I decided to bring the subject that I was going to talk about to my friend to YouTube because why not? I don't have to not be able to talk to anybody at all when I have you guys, right? So here we are. So I just came across a video of a woman literally cussing a what did she cuss? I don't know if she cussed, but whether she cussed or not, she definitely sounded like she was cussing that lady out. She was definitely not nice or professional in her demeanor towards this woman. Basically, this woman that was working for an establishment, I guess it was a food place, um, started cussing out a customer because the customer got a bill of $55 and only gave $3 or $5 tip. And the lady is just fussing about how she got bills and this and the third. And I'm just sitting there looking at this video and looking at the comments and stuff and seeing how people are talking both ways. Some people are saying that yeah, tipping is optional, so you can't make nobody tip. And then some people are like, and most of the time it's people that's in the food industry, who are like, well, obviously y'all never worked in the food industry to say that tipping is optional. Whether I worked in the food industry or not, tipping is still optional. Here's the thing. If anyone ever understood tipping, I'm one that understands it. Even though no, I never did work in the food industry, and guess what? There's a reason why. Just like I told one of the commenters in the comment section of that video, I recognized very early when I was young how weird and kind of crappy, excuse my way of expressing it, but that's the best word that I can use on this platform to describe how it seemed working in the food industry or directly with other people's money can be. It seems to be very complicated and too much extra stuff I do not ever want to deal with. So therefore, I made a decision early in my careers of having jobs. I'm not dealing with nobody's money. I'm not dealing with nobody's food. Now, mind you, before I officially started working regular jobs, I used to work for my mom. So I used to deal with her food or deal with food for her and or money, but literally that was it. Other than her, never have I or will I work a job that is centered around food. And that's one of the major reasons why, because I know how, in the food industry, they don't pay you well and you gotta survive off of tips, and you gotta be kissing people's behind extremely just to try to even think you're gonna get a tip. And then for that lady to actually think she was gonna cuss somebody else out and get money, she was delusional. Like, seriously, she was delusional. Because it's like, so do you really think that this lady's gonna give you more money or ever even come back to this establishment? In all actuality, I think that lady probably should have got fired if she didn't get fired, because now you done already made a scene and you kind of making the business look bad, So I was thinking to myself, like, what would I have done if I was having a tough time with my funds? Because here's my thing. Since I used to be a dancer and literally worked hard as crap just for some dollars sometimes, child, please, can't nobody tell me nothing about no damn tipping. Excuse my mouth. But for real, we gonna keep it real right now. When I have did splits all over the daggone stage, climbed the pole, um, been twerking all night long, okay? And sometimes only go home with maybe $50, $60. Okay? So this lady sitting there fussing about $3 to $5 tip on a $55 bill. She tripping. Because baby, I have had times where I have busted my behind working hard for hours and only went home with mainly possibly $100, $150 on a bad day. Like I said, sometimes I would have 50, 60. Sometimes I'd be in the negative. It would really just depend. Why y'all think I decided to stop dancing? Still look good, body still fit. It's because of the fact that you gotta work too daggone hard for tips. So that was my experience with tips, because I was never going to work in the food industry, and I'm not. But I have had my experience with the tip industry because of dancing. I also had to express to one of the commenters also that I actually, even though I've never worked in the food industry, I actually have had jobs where I've gotten tipped and it wasn't even required. You know, multiple different type of people person type of jobs where I had to deal with people directly, and people really loved my personality, so they would give $20, $50. So a few times I got bigger than that. And you know what I think helped me with that? Dancing. Because one thing I was just telling my boyfriend today, one thing I could definitely say since I started dancing, I was good in communication before I started dancing, but I was a lot better. Let me tell y'all, seriously, I can honestly say, after I had been dancing for some time, I got so much better when it came to communicating. And when it came to being able to be, when I'm ready, of course, to be sociable and to talk well to people and to be able to have that type of vibe for people where they want to tip you, where they want to give you some money, where they want to bless you. I had to say, like, when you do your job very well, because that's why I've had times when I was working, tipping wasn't required, but I got tips. I did my job well. When you do your job very well, you don't have to guilt trip anybody into tipping you. Because when you're doing a service for someone and you go a little extra mile or you be a little extra kind, it can go a long way with some people. Now, I say with some people because everybody's not like that. And I noticed in the video with the woman trying to fuss the lady out about not tipping, I noticed that the lady also added in her argument, your parents should have taught you that you should tip. Here's the thing. My parent actually did teach me that. But she didn't teach me to tip somebody because they try to guilt trip me into tipping them. She didn't teach me to tip somebody when they get rude and disrespectful. What she did teach me, though, is when that person goes above and beyond and does an amazing job, and most times that probably does better than anybody else, and you see that and you experience that, and they give you that experience that most other people don't give you, that's when you tip. And that's when I do tip, if I can afford to do that at that time. Because sometimes how high everything is, child, please. Okay? But sometimes, even still, like I said, if I'm not struggling, because sometimes you be struggling with these high bills. But, you know, if it's not that type of situation where I've got to be too tight, you know, because sometimes you got to be tight on your spending habits. But if you don't have to be too tight and you can give a little, sometimes I will. And you should be very grateful and thankful for that, because it's coming from my heart. And however deep I can go, doesn't even matter how large or small it is, because literally it came from my heart. When I tip somebody, I seen something in you and I appreciated that, and I wanted to let you know through some kind of way that I could. And so I chose to tip you. So I decided to come talk to you guys about this because I felt it necessary to talk about it because I was like, this is an interesting subject here. And I don't know if I ever even got the point across that I was trying to get to, but basically I was thinking to myself, if I had that situation with that lady fussing me out on one of my days that I was struggling and, couldn't really tip because I'm kind of tight in my pockets at that time, she would not have liked what I had to say. I'd have been as cordial, I guess you could say, as possible. I'd have tried not to match her energy and be as disrespectful as she was, but she would not have liked what I had to say. Because I would have straight up told her, sis, you made about $35? How about being in the negative? How about coming here to work, shaking your buns all day, showing your buns all day, and then losing money? How about that? You want to talk about, I don't know what the food industry is like. Sweetie, you don't know about any other industry besides the food industry that requires tipping, clearly. Because if you did, you'd be quiet. If you knew anything about dancing, if you knew anything about bar backing, if you knew anything about cleaning, if you knew anything about trucking, driving people around, if you knew anything about any of these jobs that you could tip on and some people survive off of tips from, then you definitely would and recognize that actually it might not be that bad because at least I ain't got to pay to work, sweetheart. Y'all have a good day. I just wanted to bring that to y'all attention and just have a little chat with y'all. That was all. Just a little chat about tipping. That was all. I'll see you guys in the next video. Y'all know the flow of where I go. If you vibing with Ruth, guess what? You vibing with the truth. And that's just that on that. So you just make sure you bring your butt right on back. See y'all next time. Make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe. And what? Become part of the True Tribe. Because when you vibing with Ruth, you know the rest.